and share my screen. Okay, so you should all be able to see Build a Better You. Can you see that? Give me the thumbs up. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I just wanted to introduce our special guest and just say that it's so exciting to have Jo on the line today. And we've been doing some work together on some events here in Sydney, and I've been watching what's been happening with her team. And when the girls over there said to me, look, let's get another leader, let's have another leader on, I thought of Jo straight away. So I'm really excited. I'm going to tell a little bit more about her in a minute. But firstly, I want to introduce this skill. So this is skill number 6, building a better you. And, you know, it is the most important thing. It's where it all begins. It all begins with building a better you, building a stronger you, and ensuring that you are, can you just mute yourselves, guys? I can mute everybody, but if you can mute yourselves, that would be better. Thank you. Okay, so building a better you, it's where it all begins. The stronger you are and the stronger you're looking after yourself and making sure that you're getting better and better at what you're doing is going to, you'll find that your business grows. So I've watched this over the time and I've seen people who really work on themselves and their business grows according to that. And when I looked at this first slide and successful people, I thought, wow, what a way to introduce you to Jo Mould. Because I was reading through this, and I'm going to read them out loud, and I just think, you know, self-motivated, self-responsible, proactive, persistent, always learning and growing, collaborative, a visionary, hardworking, see value in obstacles and solve problems, and reliable, and someone who really practices. And I thought, wow, isn't it appropriate that we're talking about this skill, building a better you? These are things that you need to all work on. Each of us needs to work on. And we've got someone like Jo Mould on here who is, I think, all of those things describe her. So Jo is a 5-star crystal executive, and she's someone who has had over 17 years experience in corporate world, and then she moved on to Isogenics. And that's the thing that I just love about Jo, is that she's brought all her corporate experience to her Isogenics business. And also last week we talked about belief, and you know, she's got the belief in this business that it's her way, it's the way she's going now, and she shows that absolutely. So Jo, I'm going to hand over to you, and I'd just like to ask you a few questions to start with, and let you introduce yourself to the team. So tell us a bit about Jo before Isogenics.
Morning, everyone. It's so lovely. Evening for you guys. It's so lovely to be here. So a little bit about me before Isogenics. Gosh, I think one of my beautiful leaders, who's actually the Australian leader of our UK team, Susie, she actually told me about a year ago that I was not fun. In fact, she didn't realise I was so fun. We used to work together in corporate, because in corporate I had to have the corporate hat on, and I was in a very big senior role, lots of people responsibility, lots of revenue and budget responsibility. And to be honest, it wasn't fun, but it was just what I did. You know, hands up if you ever, you know, you have a goal and you go to school or university or whatever, study, and then you work towards that goal, and you just keep going and you keep going until you've got there. But hands up if you've ever got there and it just doesn't feel that good. Has anyone else ever felt that? Yeah, I'm sure. And I just got to that point and I was like, wow, I'm earning quite a ridiculous salary, to be honest. But they owned me and I was working 80 hours a week, and on a Sunday night I would feel like someone was sitting on my chest. There was just so much stress. So it was, you know, I needed the Isogenics products from a health perspective. But because my beautiful sponsor and best friend of 20 years, I trusted her. She was a very smart woman, Lara. She said to me, oh my gosh, I think I've found that thing that we've been looking for, since we were 20. And what we'd been looking for was a way that we could have more fun in our life, holiday more, work less, but on our terms. And so she started Isogenics and I started with her. And I didn't start building straight away. I was very, in fact, if you've got people in your team or if you've got people in your life who are very corporate, who you want in your team, you just have to, my advice is you've got to go quite slowly with them because they will have egos. I had an ego. I still do, but I've worked on it a lot. And, I had to think that it was my idea. I had to do it in my time. And I'm so grateful that I did. After 18 months, I replaced my salary and left corporate. And that was 2 years ago next month, which is amazing. Like, it's been such an amazing 2 years. And now, I build my business. I've got a team of 5,000 people all over the world, a growing, incredible team in the UK. Our UK leader, Lindsay, is on the call. She's incredible. She runs her team. I just jump in when she needs help. And like network marketing is so fun. I think, to be honest, the people that I look for, hardworking, driven, professional women who want to have an incredible life, earn incredible money, but on their terms. And I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. What a great story. And it's just so clear that you run your business very professionally, Jo. So I love that about you. So looking at this skill and looking at success isn't possible without these things. We look at these: commitment, communication, competence, courage, contribution, creativity, and compliance. And I know that Jo would agree that these all are really important in our business. But what we're going to do tonight is we're just going to focus on 3 of them. And the first one I'd really like to focus on is commitment. Commitment separates the doers from the dreamers. It's the thing that really makes the difference. The real measure of commitment is action. And just thinking about that, Jo, and thinking about your story and your commitment to this business, just tell me a little bit about, how you see commitment and how that's come out within your team and your leaders and how you work with them.
Of course. So I think the first thing is it's really easy for anyone or someone to say that they want it really badly. But what I've learned to look for is the action, because obviously action speaks a lot louder than words, right? Like, we've all, hands up if you've ever dragged anyone in this business. Yeah, right. We all have. I swore that I wouldn't when I got here, but I did. And it's normal. Like, we want it more for people often than they want it for themselves. But what I've really learned in terms of, my resilience and my, I suppose my levels of satisfaction, which is so important, is that you actually can't want this more for people. You just can't. All you have to do is give people what, kind of the level that they show up at. And it's so important to meet people where they're at. But I'll be completely honest, the people that I work with one-on-one, I only work with them one-on-one because they have my level of commitment. They're prepared to do the hours. They're prepared to get uncomfortable. And they're just prepared to get into massive action and fail sometimes. Like, all of us on this call, hands up if you've failed sometimes, fallen on your face, right? Like, so I work one-on-one with those people. And that, to me, that makes it fun.
Absolutely. And you have really worked on developing consultants. Like, I've watched, and I know that you've just got 2 new crystal managers go out in your team in the UK, which is really super exciting.
So exciting. I think they're celebrating tonight. They couldn't get on, but they're both in Lindsay's team. So massive congrats to Lindsay. Like, I just think developing, honestly, in our team, guys, like, yes, creating consultants is super important. But creating managers in our team is what we're really focusing on. And I think it's what we will focus on into the future, because manager is our core rank. We can show people how to develop 2 consultants. We can show them how to develop 6 and get to director, and 10 and get to executive. So, congrats to Lindsay. I had nothing to do with it. She developed 2 crystal managers in the last 24 hours. So I just think that's amazing. And they get all of those amazing crystal reset double pounds. Like, getting people paid is why people stay. Like, in my office above where I sit, I get people paid, and I know Lindsay has the same. And that's just what we do. It's not about getting ourselves paid. We get people paid, and then we get paid, right? Which is awesome.
Absolutely. So if I can just reinforce those a couple of key things there, and it's so important when you're listening to someone who is in action and is getting success, is to listen to those things and, getting people paid and also working with the people who are taking action. That's what it's about. And if you do those two things and put those two things together, and Sophie's on the call has just moved forward again to 3 consultants heading on her way to director. And, it's just when you start feeling that sense of satisfaction, when you see people succeeding, then that's what makes all the difference. So, good on you, Sophie. Okay, so commitment is so important, and I love this. I'm sure you know this really well too, Jo. John Maxwell, looking at the different types of people, and you've got your cop-outs who have no goals and no commitment and probably wouldn't step forward to work with us. And then you have your people who are sort of holding out and they're not quite sure, and they're hesitating as far as moving forward, and they're afraid to commit. And then you have your people who get started, but then they drop out when it gets tough. And we all know that we have all of those people in our teams. But the ones that are on this call tonight, the ones who are working and moving forward, are the all-outs, people who set goals, commit, and pay a price to reach them. And do remember that this call is about building a better you. So it's about obviously you working on being a holdout, or all out, I should say. But it's about you looking for those people and working with them, because this is a game of collaboration. And it's one where if you find those right people to work with, then you're just going to find you move forward so fast. So, Jo, I know you would have seen this before. What are your thoughts on how you make sure you've got all outs in your team?
Well, first of all, you have to be an all out, right? Like, hands up, sometimes we can all be honest that, we've all had days that we get to the end of the day and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I would have employed me today. I'm not sure if I've done the work of the CEO of a potentially multi-million-dollar business. We all have those days where it's easier to watch Netflix or sit and have a wine with friends. But what I know is when I act all out, my team do the same. And it's so true. Speed of the leader, speed of the pack, guys. Like, if you have massive goals in your business, you need to be that person first. Something that we're just doing in our team, and we just announced it on our team call last night in Australia. We're doing a little just internal thing within our Ignite Your Life business program, which is our team business program. A program for May called Kick a Habit or Create a Habit. And the reason we're doing that, it's not about our customers, it's about us. Is we all feel a bit low in energy right now. And we know that it's because it's been Easter, we've been drinking too much, eating too much chocolate, not following the system properly. And so it's not that we're all doing a 30-day cleanse. We're all choosing that thing. We all have a thing that we know that if we kicked it for a month, our business will grow. For me, I love champagne. Like, I just love fizz. I can't wait to come and drink fizz with the girls in Edinburgh and Belfast. And I know, though, for the month of May, until I land in the UK on the 29th, I'm giving up fizz. And a lot of the team are doing things like giving up Netflix for the month. Because, if you're sitting at home having, for most people, a glass or two of fizz at night, you're really not being all out. Like, actually, you will slow the growth in your business. That's my experience anyway. The same with Netflix. If you're sitting working at night with Netflix on, you're not all out. Those are just my opinions, but I would stand by them. Yeah, a couple of you agree.
Absolutely, 100%. And, we often say, whether it's giving up something or whether it's doing a 30-day cleanse, the best thing to do is to get back on the bike and give it a go. because then you start feeling so good in yourself. I would do at least 3 to 4, if not more, full 30 days, absolute by the book cleanses a year. And, because of my running, I'm committed to doing that. So when I have big events coming up, that's what I do the month prior. But undoubtedly, it affects my business as well. So it's not only for my health and my sport, it's for my health, for my business, the health of my business as well.
Yeah, and it's so exciting. Like, I know our team, I know that they will all have, if they commit to this, their biggest Isagenix revenue month ever in May. But I just know that's what will happen, because I've done this enough myself to know if I kick Netflix, if I kick Fizz for a month, boom, everything just explodes.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, hello, little one. There's a little one peeking in behind you.
Yes, he's woken up quite early, but he's been very good boy sitting there on the chair under the blanket.
So gorgeous. That's what we like to see. This is all about family. Okay, so courage. This is a fascinating one, and I believe one that we all need to develop and work on. And what I wanted to say here is that often you look at other people and you think, oh yeah, but they're really courageous, or I'm sure they, step out, and you might look at Jo and think, oh yeah, I'm sure she's never scared. She never hesitates. She never thinks, oh, I don't think I can do that, or never looks at someone else and thinks that they're better than her. You know what? We all do. So when you're having one of those feelings, it's so important to know that other people feel the same. And I'll relate this back to a conversation in my running group the other day, which was that we do long runs when we're building up for a half marathon, and they get longer each week. So one week it's 14K, 16K, 18K, 20K. And when I first started, I used to get so nervous on a Monday, knowing that my long run was going to be on Sunday. And I happened to chat to someone on our run and said, how do you feel about Sunday's run? She said, oh, I'm already nervous. And I thought, oh, she's the same as me. So I just wanted to say that we all have those feelings when we're not feeling quite so courageous. However, I absolutely believe in this 100%, which is courage comes before confidence. And I know that Peter Kelly is one who, when we've heard her talk, this is something she says so strongly, that if you've got the courage to just step out and do it, then afterwards you start to feel so good, and action follows and results follow. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on courage, Jo.
Of course. Oh gosh, just on our team call last night, Heather, we talked about this, like fortune favors the bold, or fortune favors the brave, whichever one resonates with you. Like, it's so true. I do stuff all the time, but in fact, I say yes to everything and then I just work it out later. And often that thing scares me, but I've just learnt that, and I was always like this before Isagenix, when you do things that scare you, amazing things happen. And, in our team right now, we've got some awesome leaders. Lindsay is one of them, and they're stepping out right now and setting up their own team pages, their own cleanse pages. And I'm so excited when I see that, because, leaders, when someone starts to step out more and more and more, then their team, the people under them in their organization, see that they can do that too. And that just builds a team of, in our case, we're mainly women, a team of empowered women who actually believe that they can own the world, which, like, we all can, right? And so just speaking personally about something that's been going on for me lately, who's hands up, has anyone read or listened to The Big Leap? Yeah. Oh, it's like, if you haven't listened to it or read it and you are kind of feel ready to just stop operating from a zone of excellence and move into your zone of genius, which, by the way, is where the amazing stuff happens. One of my team, actually, one of my leaders told me to read this a little while ago. So I did straight away. I used to work with Anna in corporate, so I really respect her, and I know that she knows me very well. So I listened to it, and what I realized while I was listening to it was a realization that there are still so many people I worked with in corporate who still earn at that same level that I worked at, that I have not had the nerve to talk to about network marketing. which is kind of ridiculous. But what I realized was I realized the reason behind why I wasn't, and I don't need to go into that now. The point is, I just made a decision that day, and I crossed that line, and I wrote my list of who I was going to start talking to that earned at that level. And I haven't, to be honest, I haven't even done anything to do with that list. I haven't contacted any of them. But then what happened in the week following, I got messages from 3 different women, none of whom were on my list, by the way, asking me to have a coffee with them. I sat in coffee. They practically sold themselves to me. They'd researched everything I do. They've been following me in some cases for 2 years. They all earn more money than I used to earn in corporate, and they all want to join my team. Like, this is just what happens, guys, when you just get uncomfortable and change your thinking about something and just be brave. So, like, whatever it is that you all need to be brave about, because we all have something, just go and do it and get over it.
Thank you for that, Jo. The reason I put my hand up when you said that book, I'm going to be very raw and real here, is it's one Jen Jeffries talks about a lot. And it's one that I haven't read yet. And so that's going to be an action that I'm taking today.
Listen to it on the plane, Heather. Like, it's a thought. I'm actually only 3/4 of the way through it. It's very long, the audio, but it's also because it's quite full on and thought provoking. Like, I can't listen to too much of it at once.
Yeah.
Which you know is a good book. If you can listen to a book back to back, I don't believe you've absorbed it anyway. Yeah. As Jackson Parr says, I think he says this, literally he reads a book and then he reads a book and he reads a book, and he sometimes reads it 5 times, because unless you can actually kind of recite in conversation, whether it's over a coffee or on a Zoom like this, some of the content, then you haven't absorbed the book and learnt from it.
Yeah. Out of interest, do you listen to them more than read, or do you do both?
I used to read, but because of our incredible UK team, I go to bed quite late now. And when I fall into bed, I literally just fall asleep straight away. So if I hadn't actually read a book for too long, to admit, to be honest. It was months. And then I got into audiobooks. So now I just listen to them during the day or while I'm driving or at the gym or whatever.
Yeah, fantastic. I love it.
I love audios.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so contribution. I was thinking about this one. I'm thinking about you and the fact that not only did you say yes to hopping on this call, Jo, but you hopped on this call excited. And any message that I've had from you has been, I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to that. And collaboration and building the teams together is something that's, so high in your mind. And so, this is a perfect one for you. And I know also that you're very strong. You've brought your corporate side, as in giving really good customer service. And that's not only to your cleansers, but to your team, which is indicative of your mission of not only building consultants, but building managers. So I'd like to just share a few of your thoughts.
I just honestly think that, and Jen Schultz, I actually had a call with her yesterday about something. Jen Schultz is our, she's our upline, guys. And for those of you that haven't heard of her, she was for many, many years the #1 income earner in Australia and New Zealand. She's basically like that, the head of our Australian business, really, in terms of our line. And I had a quick call with her about something yesterday, and then she posted on her business page last night basically exactly this. Like, when you make it when it's about you, you're going to go pretty slow. But when you make it about other people, and when you have a mission that's greater than yourself, it's quite amazing how fast your business will grow. Contribution is so important. I'm sure I woke up this morning before my alarm, because I get so excited about, just knowing that something that I say today, hopefully just one thing will resonate with each of you. And then you just go and do more to change your life, because this is a life-changing vehicle.
Absolutely. Thank you. And, we just would like to say to you now, Jo, of of all the things that you're doing with your team, what are the things that are the ones that come to mind that really are that 1% that's making that difference?
Just having a think. Honestly, like what's creating managers, changing our focus. So to be really transparent, I started running a program late last year called an executive developing program, basically. So as part of our Ignite program, so we called it Ignite Executive. It was a 6-week program that I put together. I've run it 2 times, and I'm not going to say it doesn't work, but it's not working as well as I hoped it would. So the leaders of our team put our heads together and realized, actually, we need a program that focuses on creating managers, because manager is the core rank. So we literally started that program 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to say that that program yet is the reason why those 2 managers popped yesterday. That was Lindsay's work and their hard work. However, because in our team we've made a conscious decision and drawn a line in the sand and communicated the importance of manager to our team, I'm a very big believer from a universe perspective that when you put it out there and you're very clear about what you want for yourself, your team, and their lives, the universe has or whatever you believe in, has no choice but to give it back to you. So honestly, right now, that's the key in our team.
That's fantastic, and I think it's that posture and that strength that creates that. So if we go back to some of the things you said earlier on about being very clear about what it is that you want, and just being so focused on it, and the collaboration between your leaders and your team and working all together is obviously absolutely key to what you're saying. So Jo, as far as any other really words of wisdom that you'd like to give, because what we do with these books, we really keep them to as close as we can to half an hour. So, and I've got 1 line of homework which I'm going to finish with, but
perfect.
I'd love you to just sum up a few of the things that you believe you'd like to.
I have 1 word of wisdom, to be honest, but I think it's a massive one. Don't be afraid to lead with the income opportunity. Don't be afraid to lead with the business opportunity, the lifestyle opportunity, whatever you want to call it. Honestly, some of the most incredible people have come into my team, and quite a few in Lindsay's downline in the UK, because people were brave enough to go and say, yeah, our products are absolutely amazing and you're going to look and feel sexier and more energized than you've ever felt. However, this here, the income, the business model is actually the one that's going to change your life. Like, just don't be afraid to have those conversations. That's my biggest advice. And the people in my team who are going the fastest, and Lindsay's one of them, are not afraid to have those conversations. So if you don't know how to draw out, I'm sure you will do, but if you don't know how to draw out you share, they share, repeat. And in fact, I would take it the next step further and say, if you don't know how to draw out, actually how the residual income works. And because the reason I joined was because Lara showed me not how to make in our dollars $820, which is the you share, they share, repeat, whatever yours is in pounds. She showed me how I could out earn my $200,000 salary. Like, that was what I cared about. I didn't really care about the $800. So she had to know in her first month of Isagenix, she had to know that to be able to draw it for me. So we teach our team that pretty quickly, because that gives them the power to go and have brave conversations with people that earn decent money. Bye, Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining us. So they're my words of wisdom. Cool.
I love that. And one thing I notice you do quite a bit, Jo, is you really promote income earners. So, when people have a great week, I've seen some posts you've done with a selection of different results at different levels, which will attract different people. So is that also what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think so. To be honest, I've probably been doing less of that lately. I don't know why, but I just don't. It doesn't probably really sit with me at the moment for different reasons that we don't need to go into. But I'm probably much more focusing at the moment on stories that are income related, like Susie, who enrolled Lindsay. Heather knows Susie really well. she joined me. She was in my corporate team. And she just had her first baby. So I did a post about, it wasn't about her income, but it was about the fact that we used to work in corporate. So she's a super smart woman. She's been building her business so that she could live between Ireland and Australia, and so that she could have a baby and not have to go back to work. And there's a beautiful photo of her with her gorgeous baby, and she's built her business and she doesn't need to go back to work. So I think posts like that, to be honest, in today's market where people are being spammed with stuff all of the time, I find those posts more attractive myself, and I'm trying to attract myself. So, yeah.
Okay, I love that. And I love the fact that you've moved from one to the other, because
you just have to try what works, right?
Yeah.
Because something might work for you and it won't work for me.
Test and measure. Test and measure. Okay, so I came off the slides because I just thought for that wrap up, it's much nicer to see each other. So your homework, guys, for today is to contact what we call 3 people on your chicken list. So I love the fact that Jo said that she wrote that list of people, and not only did she write the list, but those people just happened to start to come to her because she made that decision that they're the kind of people. So before you can contact 3 people who are ones that you've known that you really want to reach out to, you need to write that list. So I'm actually going to add to the homework based on what Jo said is, first of all, write the list of the people that you know you would really love to have in your business. And I absolutely have people on my list, and I'm going to commit, as I always do, to doing the same thing as you guys. So write the list of those key people who you really want to contact, and then contact 3 of them this week, and put the feedback in this call as to how you've gone with them. I
love that. That's the best homework. This is such good stuff, guys. I love this. This activity will change your business.
That's great. Thank you, Jo. And
pleasure.
And also, Jo was saying about the you share, they share. And on one of the calls, that was the homework as well, was to do a video of you doing that and post it. And these guys have been doing that. So
perfect. Good.
Really comfortable with knowing that and doing
it.
Awesome. Okay. So thank you, Jo, for hopping on so early.
My pleasure.
Morning. It's been a delight to have you on our call.
Thank you.
Unmute yourselves and give Jo some love, and thank her very much for being with us and sharing with us. It's been great. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you, guys. I better go feed my child. He's been
awesome,
so
Jo.
good.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. What a lovely way to start the week. I'm going to have the best week now. Thank you, Heather, for inviting me. Bye.
Bye. Bye, guys. See you all very soon. Happy Monday morning. Happy Sunday night. And chat soon. Bye. Bye.